Okay. We're streaming.
We are indeed.
We're streaming.
Okay.
What did I? So we made the thumbnail, our first
thumbnail?
selfie. The thumbnail for this broadcast is our very first selfie.
Oh, from back in 2020?
January 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, January. So, when
Is that the one at the Apple store?
Yes, it's
at
the one
mall?
at the Apple store. Yep.
Park City Mall?
Yep. Park City Mall in Lancaster, PA, coming from
Yeah.
the Vania.
The vein.
When we did so about how many? Has it been a week yet? I guess it'll be a week.
Whoa.
No, it has. It's been a week. It has been a week. Over a week and a half ago, we did a thing, a 24-hour live stream called 101 Ideas for America. It's an idea I've been iterating on since.
For a while.
Are you holding it because we need
It
to
broke off.
reattach?
It broke off.
No. Go ahead and
It's
reattach
okay.
it. Go ahead and reattach it.
I'm going to have to glue it. I'm going to have to epoxy it at some point. But I can't just reattach it now. It literally broke. See?
Is there anything we can? I don't have like a.
There's
clip or
this.
something?
There's this thing.
Oh yeah, do see if you
Let's
can,
see if I can
flip that in there.
Yeah. This might work.
Yeah, you can clip it right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Apologies for any noise this is
no,
making.
24-hour live stream, 101 Ideas for America, something I've been working on for a while, and you got it.
I need the.
And
Putting
Brian,
my microphone down for a
we
sec.
co-hosted most of it, and Brian hosted a portion of it by himself while I was showering, and I was listening to the broadcast in the JBL Charge, the speaker, and he was talking to my mom. My mom kept him company during his solo session, and somehow they started talking about how long we had been together, and Brian said 2020. And I was like, actually, in my upstairs, actually, our first date was in November 2019, if not October 2019.
Sure wasn't October 2020.
No, because
When
our
was the
first
COVID
selfie,
shutdown?
our first selfie is from January 2020.
Wow.
So I think it was October 2019 because remember, November 2019, I traveled to go see my dad, I feel like. And our first selfie was January. I'm almost positive.
So I split up with my ex-wife in July of 2019. So yeah, that
Right.
would stand to reason.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that is why he said, I'm not looking for a long-term relationship. Oh, but that's a conversation for another time. Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to get into my Google account. Hold on.
Googly.
My Google account. Hold, please.
I
Everybody.
think I might have this working.
Oh, good.
Oh, look at this.
Does it work?
Yes.
Nice.
Ish.
So I need you to do me a favor.
What's
I need
that?
you to. Can you tell the people what we were talking about while I look for my Google password?
We were talking about when our first date was, and that was 2019, apparently.
But also what we were talking about before. Remember, I asked you to make sure.
I was concentrating on this microphone.
Before we got on there, I was asking you to. You asked me if it's possible to set this up with OpenClaw. Never mind.
Oh, to reconnect the stream, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you weren't using OpenClaw a lot lately, and you were going to explain to me why
Yes.
that is.
So, and what's your recollection of what OpenClaw was?
It's an agentic AI software that runs on your computer and does stuff for you.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, that's true. In a nutshell, that is it. Hold on, I'm doing my verification.
Okay. Wait, are we
Yes,
not
it's
streaming
me.
right now?
No, we're streaming, but it's
Okay.
allowing me to open the chat. So if mommy is still with us, I hope she's
Is
still
anyone with
watching.
us? How many
If I
watchers do
didn't-
we have?
None, and I'm pretty
None.
sure. If
None.
mommy is still with
We
us,
need to be must-see TV here.
which I hope she is, but she might be upset because of yesterday's conversation because I was so
Going
vulnerable.
into personal stuff.
Yeah, I was so vulnerable and crying and stuff. But today we wanted to talk about. Well, I wanted to share our conversation from earlier it was one of, so how would you describe our conversations? Like we have conversations that are just everyday conversations, but we have what?
Micro fights?
What's micro
No,
fights?
I'm saying you said how would I describe it?
What are micro fights? Oh, micro fights, like microscopic fights. So Brian views
One watching, it's me. I'm the only one watching.
Brian views
Apparently.
my feedback as Brian views my feedback as adversarial.
It's not always constructive criticism.
It doesn't, and I'm not even thinking that I'm criticizing. I'm thinking that I'm expounding on an idea, asking an explanatory question, advancing something that he said to see if I'm on the right track. But he hears what I'm saying as criticism. And, it's really difficult to reckon with what someone hears from you versus what you think you're saying.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good point. You're like, yeah.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean like, but no, yeah, it's true. I remember I told you about Do What Feels Like Love, the thing I told myself when I visited mommy that time when my grandmother was still alive. And we had contentious visits before then. And
I've never met her, but I feel like I have.
Yeah. Yeah, you have. Yeah, to me you have.
Yeah.
You especially met her. You know what I was thinking?
Via you and
Right, and mommy. But also, too, remember how swollen my legs got on the...
You're like,
during the live stream?
legs got
Those
swollen
were
too.
Grand's legs. I kept looking down and like, these are Grand's legs. They were Grand's legs. They were totally Grand's legs.
One of our little nephews came in and saw a picture of my dad and asked me if it was me.
And that's true. It does look like you. Mommy said it looked like you too.
No, I of my brothers, I'm the one that looks the most like him.
Yeah,
Sure.
Mommy said it
For
looked
sure.
like you also.
Everyone says it.
You know the conversation the conversation we had earlier. So again, how would you describe our conversation? So micro fights. What else? Like the journey of them. What's it like participating in them? Like I think of them as like an odyssey. They just feel like they go a lot of different places.
In theaters now, the Odyssey.
Oh, it is.
Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan.
right. That's true. That's true. It is. Mm-hmm.
I did have a double major. I had a classics major.
I didn't know that,
didn't
but
know
I'm not
that?
surprised. No.
Read a lot of stuff in Latin.
Yeah. Well, I knew that you were like a lover of entomology. Etymology, Lord. Entomology is the bugs, isn't
Yes.
it? Etymology.
Yeah, my dad would always make that exact same
Really?
mistake.
What is
You're
that
like, what's
called?
the entomology?
Malapropism, right.
You're like,
Uh-huh.
what's the entomology of that word?
Well, and you know another word that's been coming up for me a lot? Epistemology.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, epistemology has been coming
That
up for
is
me recently.
the understanding of the nature of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly. From my university days.
Your university days. Hmm.
Yes.
So, how would you describe one of our conversations?
All over the place.
All over the place.
In a good way.
Mm-hmm.
We cover a breadth of topics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think we fill in the gaps in each other's knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel energized by them?
Depends on the conversation.
What about the one we had today about gold? Gold.
Today's was a good one. The one yesterday did not feel energized.
Right. Well, so for those who weren't a part of it, because you
Microfight.
don't live in our home, because you don't live in our home, and you're not married to us. Nanny boo boo. You don't get to be married to us. Huh?
Yeah. What a privilege.
Yeah, I think it's a privilege to be married to us. You don't think so? No. Oh wow, he doesn't think it's a privilege to be.
No. I was just. What was it that you said about me yesterday during our conversation? Because I'm feeling it right now.
I don't even remember.
About in being the most insecure person in the world. 'Cause I'm feeling like the most insecure person.
Oh,
in the
don't
world
do
right
that.
about now.
Oh wow, bless your heart. I love you so much for that. I love you so much for that. Do you know how much confidence it takes to even say that out loud? Anyway, So our
2+ decades of therapy, folks.
I know, right? Our conversation today, since it was better than yesterday's, tell them what was it about today? It was about gold and comparing gold to.
We were talking about the AI, the current AI scene.
Oh, right, because I was asking
it-
you if you were going to be investing in any AI
Comparing
stocks.
it to the gold rush, right? Mm-hmm. And I repeated the old cliche that the people who made the gold rush, money in the gold rush, weren't the prospectors. They were the people that were selling them their shovels and picks. Mm-hmm. And we actually looked up some of the people who made the most money during the gold rush, and one of the ones we came across, which blew Penny's mind, was Levi Strauss.
Yeah, 100%.
Inventor of blue jeans. Mm-hmm. Because blue jeans were originally gold miner attire. Mm. And Levi Strauss, who I guess was a merchant in San Francisco,
gold miner attire,
went into business with a tailor friend of his, and they developed these pants that were made out of, I think at first they were made out of canvas, and later denim, and they were riveted, so they were extra tough. So, perfect for going out and panning for gold.
I thought rivets were those things that you put in them. Got it.
Yeah, the rivets are the metal
Oh,
fasteners.
so they were riveted all the way down?
Yeah, as opposed to sewn. They were
Got it. Okay, got
it. The sewn seam, I guess, wouldn't stand up to the rigors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Pan it for gold!
Got it. Mm-hmm. I got it.
You liked my prospector voice.
I know. I loved it. It was a real thing. Like, what did you say?
Yeah!
We found gold.
Gold in them there hills.
Yep. That's it. That's how it goes. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes.
Yes, but yeah, Levi Strauss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. My mind was blown with that.
And
right.
If you go to San Francisco, there's still Levi Strauss Plaza, and
a thing
the San
I didn't
Francisco
know.
49ers play in Levi Strauss Stadium, which is actually in Santa Clara, not San Francisco.
You're in Santa Clara. Uncle Bobo's in Santa Clara.
But yeah, the people that made the real money were not necessarily the ones who were finding the gold. It's the ones that were outfitting them. And so we were talking about AI, saying the real money to be made is in selling the chips to the data centers, right?
Right, that's what he was saying. Yeah,
that underlie all these large language models, and that's why I was talking about how NVIDIA kind of lucked into being the world's most valuable company. They were making chips for gamers, right, for video games, and it just so happened that those were the ones that were the most useful for doing AI computing on.
And that was what that was what I was also thinking about was the just so happened piece of the just so happened part of it.
And they had the tools, and they sold the tools, and now they are very, very rich. But the other one I pointed out was that Samsung, their chip manufacturing unit, made more money this year than they have in the entire history of the unit. For whatever 40 years or however long they've been making chips. They made more in this year than the rest of their existence combined.
Right, I forgot you said that.
Yeah, and I saw another thing is that, like, I guess the average Samsung employee bonus this year is $350,000.
Really?
Yes, just their bonus.
That's amazing.
Right, because they've been so mega profitable. And
that's amazing.
You give a list of AI companies, and you're not, who's going to say Samsung? No one.
Right.
But they're underlying all of it.
That's amazing. Yeah. I would love to get that kind of a bonus.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Dude, when I was back in the heyday of the .com era, I worked for a company called Perot Systems. And it was an IT consulting company and owned by Ross Perot, the former presidential candidate. And we had this account called Triton Container. And Triton, they leased shipping containers. So the intermodal containers, those big boxes you see on the backs of trucks, and you see them being loaded onto ships. And so they had this huge fleet of them, and they leased them to merchants who used them to move stuff around the world. Well, I was working for them the one year. They had their best year ever. And all of all of the Triton employees got these huge bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
But we were on site. We were working out of the Triton company. It was like we were Triton employees, but we were technically Perot employees.
Mm-hmm.
And so Perot, one of the things they were doing, and this was not my department, but they were making a new tracking system for these containers, and they royally fucked it up. Right? They turned in this thing that just didn't work, and so the Triton employees got no bonus. And
oh, really?
And sorry, not the Triton, the Perot employees got no bonus. And the Triton employees were getting a bonus that was like 40% of their yearly salary.
Oh, wow. What disparity.
We got nothing.
What disparity.
Nothing.
Was there a revolt?
No, because there really wasn't much we could do. But it was, the programmers. I wasn't one of the programmers. I was one of the IT people. But the programmers screwed it up. And yeah, fun times. But there was one point. Here's another story from back in my IT days. So we were, so their original container tracking system ran on this old Unix system by Digital Equipment. And at the point we were doing this, which was around like 2000, maybe 1999, Digital Equipment was out of business, right? They were long out of business. This is like one of the dinosaurs.
Digital
of tech.
Equipment is the name of the company.
The company, yeah. And so they had the server that was running on that was no longer supported. And for some reason, we were moving the server room. And we're like, okay, well, we're turning off the system, moving it to the new room and turning it back on. And as we're moving the damn thing, the power cord, like the socket for the power cord, breaks off. And it's just like, oh my God, we can't bring the system back up. Parts aren't available for this thing. Like, each day that it's down, we're losing millions of dollars, right? The company. And so I remember I went in and I found like a PC and I tore it open and I tore the power socket and the power supply out of it and jerry rigged it to this old server. And, this is the thing that we were supposed to be replacing. That they were supposed to reprogram to run on regular, up-to-date hardware at the time. And so I get the thing up and running. We only lose about like 20 minutes, right, of business time. And I remember the CEO of the company called me and he's like, great job. And then my manager, who was a Perot employee, called me and he's like, hey, Brian, there are no bonuses this year. It's like, we would give you a spot bonus now, but there are no bonuses this year.
That's the point of the story.
Then he's like, he pulls his wallet out and he hands me his credit card. And he's just like, go take your girlfriend to the nicest restaurant you can find in the city and spend as much money as you can. Buy the most expensive bottle of wine, buy the lobster, whatever. And he's like, it's on me.
That's a great employment story.
Yeah, so that was like, so that was how my boss...
That was a great employment story.
Rewarded me, yeah.
Right.
Guy named Ken, good guy. What was his last name?
You didn't bother to remember his last name?
What was his last? White, maybe White.
That's
Something
a
like
great
that. Yeah.
employment story.
But yeah, he was just like, here's my credit card, take it. Just like get whatever you want.
I've been thinking about entrepreneurship and employment in the context of the founding. And also in the context of like the idea of a republic, meaning I know it's a political system that citizens govern through representatives. I'm literally reading this off the thing. Laws and institutions. And I'm also thinking, because it seems now like our political system and our economic system, I don't think of them as totally indistinguishable. You know what I mean?
I don't think they ever have been.
So I've been wanting to talk with you about the republic. Like, what is like I am hearing, so I know that there's always been a rumbling of this isn't a democracy, this is a republic. And at different times in the country's history, but like, please go to town on the idea of a republic.
So we have the story we tell ourselves that this country was founded by religious objectors, right? The Puritans, the Pilgrims. You know, they were being persecuted by the Church of England.
Oh, I thought we tell ourselves the story about the text, not the Puritans.
No, I'm telling. This is 150 years before that, right?
Oh, I don't think about that
when
time. But okay, I don't think about the narrative of that time. Got it.
The first British colony in the U.S. was Jamestown, Virginia.
Is that 1619?
It was before 1619.
Okay.
But yes, same colony, the Virginia colony. And I think it was, 1606 that they founded the colony? Anyway, that was sent over as a combined kind of military and commercial endeavor. So a little known fact of me is that I worked for a while.
Sent over?
From England.
Okay.
You know, they sent ships over with people in them, right? It's a colony. That's what a colony is.
So a little known fact about
yes, is that it was it was a commercial endeavor. And so a little known fact about me is that I worked at Jamestown for a while doing archaeology, early 2000s. And you look at the initial colony and they're trying to figure out all kinds of ways to basically economically exploit the New World. You know, England got this toehold. You know, Spain at this point had been there for 100 years, right? And they were mining gold in Mexico and Peru, and getting very rich. So they sent people over to look for gold. They were looking for gold in Virginia. There's no gold in Virginia. They didn't find any. But some of the very earliest archaeological sites at Jamestown, there's like, they tried to set up a glass making factory, right? And they tried all these different things, and ultimately they settled on tobacco as a cash crop. And you look at the development of Virginia, which in the early days is really where all the action was at. And these are tobacco growers. They're going out there. There's this land that's essentially free. You know, you have to kill the people that were there beforehand.
And these are Native Americans.
Yes. But to them, there's like, oh, it's savages, kill them, right? And you come over and you plant this crop and you created this demand in Europe for tobacco. It's an addictive substance. And so like America in the very, English America in the very early stages was, it was a gold rush. It was people coming over trying to make money. And it's funny because even in the very first ships, you got this weird combination of like prisoners and like really lower class, like laborer people, indentured servants. And then you had guys coming over dressed like they're in a Shakespeare play, wearing like ruffs. One of the artifacts you find is these little cones. And you're like, what's this metal cone? It was used to iron the little individual ruffles in the ruff that they're wearing, right? And, as it turned out, they got over into the wilderness and, these guys were useless. And like the very lowest levels, which are the earliest dates, you find these irons because they just chucked them away, right? This thing's useless. So you're living in Virginia in 100 degrees.
So that was survival of the fittest. That's where survival of the fittest starts.
But the broader point is these guys came over here because they were like the second or third son in some aristocratic family. They didn't inherit the estate, and this was a way for them to try to make their fortune, right? So those were the people that were coming over. Not necessarily, like, the Virginia colony was way bigger than the Massachusetts colony, where the Puritans were coming over to get away from religious persecution. They were here to make money. And the legislative body that the American Congress in the early republic is modeled after is Virginia's House of Burgesses, which is the first, kind of like parliament, right, of Virginia. The first democratically elected body, for a certain quantity of democracy, wealthy landowning white men, right? But Thomas Jefferson was in the House of Burgesses. George Washington was. Like, all the Virginia guys were. And so when they decided we're going to form, when we're going to declare our independence and form a government, that was the model. It was the model that was created by the entrepreneurs. These were the Elon Musks, and the Bill Gateses and the Steve Jobs of their day, who struck out into the new world to make fortunes. Tobacco. And the funny thing is, New England later developed.
Hold on, let me share it. I'm going to share I want to share this. My whatever. I don't know how to share it. People should be watching us right now. Just go ahead.
So up in New England, up in Boston, they really developed being the merchants, being the middlemen, right? And they had some industries up there, fishing and so forth, but the soil wasn't particularly good, right? They couldn't farm. There weren't a lot of minerals. So they became merchants. And they became merchants in like this global economy where, you heard of the triangular trade. The triangular trade, so basically it was sugar, slaves, and rum, right? And, the triangle was Europe, Africa, and the Americas. And so they were shipping slaves over here who were growing sugar. The sugar was being made to rum, went to England, in just like a big triangle, right? And so, that's what the people in New England ended up doing. They were the ones that were facilitating trade, but they weren't necessarily the kind of business tycoons like the people in Virginia were. George Washington owning thousands and thousands of acres and all these slaves. Like slaves were part of the capital equation. But they were making a lot of money. But they were kind of like the second tier of a pre-existing elite coming in, right? Like these were the second sons or whatever, or they
from
were,
an elite familial wealth,
yes,
but not
England.
having inherited the actual liquidity.
But they had kind of the sway, right?
They had the reputation,
and even George Washington,
the speculative.
George Washington, he spent a lot of time in America, and even in the French and Indian Wars, like 30 years before the Revolution, he was a colonel in the British Army. And
a little bit about me, my brother, Curtis
Yes.
Jr. was a colonel.
But he was wearing a red coat and fighting the French and the Indians out near Pittsburgh. Like you can go out where my grandma lived is like right up the road from Fort Necessity, which is like where George Washington fought in the French and Indian War.
Okay.
Right?
So
but the point is, like, he was coming from like a semi-aristocracy already, but the ones that they came over to the United States because there just wasn't enough opportunity for them in England, or so they thought.
And how does that
become the United States?
How does that is materiality or the material become the framework, like the matter of like a republic? How does that material condition then become?
Well, it becomes the framework of a merchant republic, right? And
a merchant republic.
Yes. It's built on commerce, like all of,
and
so the founding fathers, right?
They were all merchants.
Well, yes,
they were all merchants, right?
But they also, they were reading some of the Enlightenment thinkers, but they were also like looking back at ancient Rome and so forth, this republic, but from day one they were like, when we are forming a system of government, we want it to facilitate commerce. And it's funny because even today, you look at most of the federal government's power that they have through the Constitution, and it comes through the Commerce Clause. There's a clause in the Constitution that says Congress shall have the right to regulate commerce, right?
But regulate commerce and facilitate commerce are two different things.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yes, but it's been interpreted broadly over the years, right? Here, let me read the actual clause.
Yeah,
for
please
you.
do.
But this is what has been used to say the federal government, as opposed to the state governments, can put their hands in, the way that commerce works. And like probably 80% of the government's power comes from this. The federal government's power comes from the Commerce Clause. Okay. So it's Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, right?
Wait, Article 1,
Yes.
Section
Section 8, Clause 3. And I will
Clause
read it to you.
3.
Yes.
Commerce Clause.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's one
dense.
sentence.
Oh, it's just one sentence. Okay.
Congress shall have power to regulate commerce with foreign nation and among the several states. That is the key.
Among
right
the
there.
several
Yeah.
states, which were
Yeah.
the existing states at the time.
But, it's been interpreted to mean any state, right? And with
But
the Indian tribes.
It's been interpreted to mean any state, but why is it not interpreted to mean all states?
It is interpreted to mean all states. Any and all. Right? So
To regulate.
So-
So wait, read it one more time.
Congress shall have power to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes.
What did the
Now-
word regulate mean then?
Good question. People who are always debating about the Second Amendment say that too. Well-regulated militia, right? What did regulate mean? Okay, so this is what constitution.congress.gov says.
Okay.
Okay. The Commerce Clause gives Congress broad power to regulate interstate commerce and restricts states from impairing interstate commerce. So they want to make sure that there is a free flow of goods and money, right?
Right, but they use the word regulate to define the word regulate. Okay.
Early Supreme Court cases primarily viewed the Commerce Clause as limiting state power rather than as a source of federal power. Of the approximately 1,400 Commerce Clause cases the Supreme Court heard before 1900, most stemmed from state legislation. As a consequence, the Supreme Court's early interpretations of the Commerce Clause focused on the meaning of commerce while paying less attention to the meaning of regulate. During the 1930s, this was FDR, right? We've talked about him before. However, the Supreme Court increasingly heard cases on Congress's power to regulate commerce, with the result that its interstate commerce clause jurisprudence evolved markedly during the 20th century. So this is
that's
written
what
by the current Republican Congress. They don't.
I was going to say
they won't take the step and say they actually have the power. They're very kind of wishy-washy on this, but
Well-
there is a long line of cases that say they absolutely do.
But
have
the power, the right and the responsibility are two different things.
sure.
And the right to do something has been conferred as power versus the responsibility to do something is conferred as purpose. Like that is your purpose to do so. And if in that term, if there were surely regulate, what did regulate mean then? Like none of
So-
those things, I'm still thinking of the word facilitate. And facilitate means to support.
So there's this whole line of cases about the Dormant Commerce Clause, right? Which is, so the Dormant Commerce Clause is an interpretation that is like interpolated into the Commerce Clause, where the Dormant Commerce Clause says the federal government has this power, which means the states do not have the power. And so there's like these cases where one state will say, well, trucks coming in from another state, from outside of our state, have to follow this regulation that ours don't. Or, our state government is only going to order apples from producers within our state or whatever. And in these cases, in the past, the Supreme Court has stepped in and they've been like, there is a right that is reserved to the federal Congress that you are attempting to exercise as an individual state. You can't do that. And so
you can't determine what another state can do in your state because only
Right.
federal Congress can
Yes.
determine what states do with each other.
Yes. So there is both the right for them to regulate.
But there's not a
And-
responsibility for them to cooperate. Mhm.
True. No, there's a right for the federal government to regulate.
Mm-hmm.
And there is conversely like a prohibition
Mm-hmm. On states.
on states from coming in and attempting to exercise
Mm-hmm.
the same kind of power.
But there's a power other than the same type of power, which is the power to to request.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like a
Yeah.
power to, you know what I mean? Or a power to know how you can cooperate, to know what you can do, right?
Yeah, and there are other areas of constitutional law where it's like Congress does not have the power to tell the states to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they'll backdoor it they'll be like, well, we can't make you do this, but we're going to condition your highway funding on your doing this, right? And so they attach strings in other areas. And they're like, it's totally up to you whether you act in this way or not, but you're not going to get the benefit
Right.
if you don't do it.
And then all of this, let's go back to our hero villain townspeople.
Yeah.
Because the townspeople is the citizenry and the residents of the state. What do they get out of any of that game playing, that power wielding?
Good question. I mean, and I think you can debate that forever, right? It's
And
like,
if we're debating how much money our state makes from interstate commerce, I would much rather decide where I want their focus to be, because it might be that doing all that back and forth about trucks when you could be like reactively, when you could be proactively doing more back and forth between, me and AI, the federal government to get
But here's the thing, like, it's not just trucks. It's
I understand it's not. I understand it's
commerce
not.
in the
I
most
understand.
broadest,
Yeah.
in the broadest sense possible. So I am sure if it hasn't already happened,
I'm sure it has to. Yeah.
the federal government will step in and say, we have the power to regulate AI because it affects.
They've already
interstate
started doing
commerce.
that. Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing.
Oh, but maybe not
Anytime
staying
you write
interstate
a
commerce.
law,
Not necessarily because of
anytime
that.
you write a law, you have to
Cite
justify
yeah.
the constitutional basis.
And you're
by
saying
which
it's
doing
probably
it.
the same commerce clause.
So
Got it.
I am sure any law that has actually been passed, right, states in its preamble, pursuant to Congress's power to regulate interstate commerce, and the fact that whereas artificial intelligence has impacts on the interstate Congress therefore regulates it in this way.
The thing I'm struggling with, that I'm struggling with, I've been struggling with this, which is like the meaning of things has changed
Yeah.
so much. And how do we get to litigate's not the right word, but like how
Litigate is the right
litigate
word.
is the right word. How do we get to litigate that? Like, so all of this is there are all these layers on top of the people that completely obfuscate, obscure, like the
There's
people's
bullshitting
will.
at every level.
Yeah, and so like there's no justifiable level. Like there's not one justifiable level where you can truly validate the so-called input of the people, whether it's a vote, whether, whatever. Like, it's just too captured at every level.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I fantasize about is like what would it look like if quote, the people were a sovereign entity who
Well,
could.
I mean, under the Constitution, they are.
Right, but there's no.
They are the source of sovereignty. Yeah.
Right, they're the source of sovereignty, but they are not conferred with sovereignty themselves as a group, as a collective.
Tell me what you mean by sovereignty.
So I guess what I mean is, like, to me, the people should have a means by which they can sue their government without the direct harm, like whatever, like meaning that the people should be able, there should be a case to be made where you put that reasoning on top of whatever reasoning that says, you know, yes, the Congress is partisan X, Y, and Z, but even if you look at what is available to them, you know what I'm saying? Like on either side, there's still a lack of fiduciary duty. There's a lack of stewardship in their roles. Like, and I'm not saying that to cast dispersions. I'm just saying, like, we can say no matter who's in charge, if we're not just looking at who's better than the other person, that political capture happens at so many levels where who you get to vote on, those moments that you actually get to decide, are diluted.
You know, I took a course in law school on sovereignty. It was an upper level course. It was probably the most difficult and confusing course I took in my entire time at law school. And I went to a very good law school. But it's such a slippery concept. And there's so many different ideas about it. And so many people have used it to different ends.
Yes, that's the part.
That, you know, if you ask me what does sovereignty mean, like I could sit here and talk for an hour about the concept of sovereignty and how it evolved from, you know, ancient times until now, and it still wouldn't be a satisfactory answer.
But there's at least an opportunity to say that human beings are sovereign. Like that's not legally prescribed, that human beings are sovereign.
But that's kind of the opposite of the whole social contract thing, where it's like we've given up sovereignty in exchange for security and predictability.
But so have we? Because I don't think enough of us buy into that.
I mean, okay, here's the question: would you go live in Somalia, where there's very little central government authority and people are sovereign unto themselves? Libertarian paradise.
No, but I also don't think that the options are either or.
They're not either or.
I believe that there's a generation of young people who are really going to laugh people out of the room who make that either or discuss when younger people are in power. Like it's not. And then
I mean, we all say we're gonna, and then we get in power when we get old, and then we don't. I mean, our generation was gonna change things too.
So
remember?
I don't mean that's gonna be like gung ho. I just mean that it's gonna be decided for us then, whatever. Anyway, so I'm not trying to be difficult or resistant or to challenge you, but you seem to be responding to me as if I am.
No, I don't think you are.
But anyway, okay, that was good. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
For my pontificating.
Sure.
All
right, so I'm going to play.
So let's see if we have any other watchers.
No, we don't. I can see.
We haven't attracted anyone else.
Nope.
Well, I'm not on there now, so if we have one, it's one more than we have.
No, it's not. You're going to see the one that's going to be you.
Wait.
I was going to play.
Legends in our own mind.
I was going to play. We're not legends in our own mind at all. You are.
Live. One watching now. That's me.
That's you.
Crap, NASA hid this with the Amish fix.
Oh. All right, so I'm going to play the Penny and Brian song, the Penny and Brian time song. Just give me a meanie. Oh, look at that. That's me. I was gonna
Oh, is
play.
this the one you just made?
I was
I
gonna.
don't know if I like this one or not.
Oh, I was gonna play the. Oh, I am. I will also play. No, I won't. I'll play that another time.
Dude looks like Niederman.
I will also play another time the conversation that Brian and I had about the gold because I did record it and I think it's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna open. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to open and let's see what this song is sounding like. Tell me if this echoes too.
I don't know. You sound good.
Turn it down.
Penny and Brian time. Penny and Brian. Penny and Brian. Penny and Brian time. Penny and Brian. Yeah. PB&J Productions. Penny Brian do joint. Penny Brian do joint. Ha! Penny and Brian time. Penny and Brian time. Penny and Brian time. Penny and Brian time. PB&J Productions. Penny and Brian. New joint, new joint, new joint.
Hey, that's it.